Virgo, this is your 2024. This is your May 2024 message for the month ahead. Everything you need to hear, see, feel, and know to number one, get happy. Number two, take action in your life again, your next step. Number three, enjoy the journey to get there. So without further ado, this is an interesting month for you guys. Interesting. You want love, you want passion in life again, and you want business success. You want love though, and wow, you definitely want. It looks like you kind of got the career piece down. You need the love in there now too. It kind of looks like okay. So if your soul of a lesson right now, wow, this is actually pretty concise and clear. Your soul of a lesson this month is don't be too slow in communication. Don't like play games, don't like let me just wait, build the anticipation. Like literally your lesson is to like don't be slow in communication with someone that you love. Because guy, it's like watering a plant. You either water the plant when it needs water or you don't. If you don't, the plant is going to die. You either have enough communication in your relationship with the person so it can flourish or you don't. Waiting and playing games, that might work with people who are cluster B, people who are like damaged, people who are toxic. That doesn't work with a healthy relationship. That only creates distance. So then when you come back around, you're like, all right, they must really miss me now. And you're kind of met with the cold shoulder or something. It's because you weren't communicating enough. You weren't watering your relationship enough. Um, in terms of like how that's applying to your personal day, like the human level lesson of that is it's kind of like you're at this like void of I guess I just never found someone who liked me enough. It's like you have this ideal image of what a relationship should look like, how they should be treating you if they really loved you. But check it out. Like, if you're only 1 month in, 2 months in, you can't expect them to drop everything they're doing to drive like 9 hours to help you with your work project to then go back home. Guys, that's like marriage. That's like 2 years in, a year in, not a month or two in, not when something's just beginning. So it's kind of like learning to do the appropriate ask of a relationship and not asking too far ahead. Because that's actually more shows that like you don't know how to calibrate and pace to relationships than it does how the other person feels about you. So it's not giving up on love, or I guess no one was made for me, or I guess no one just loved me enough. It's kind of like recognizing that like you need to learn to give more juice to the relationship. You need to learn to give it more attention. And even though you in that exact moment aren't craving to connect and talk to them, do you still want that flower to bloom in like 9 months so you can enjoy the flower? Sometimes you just gotta like, hey, just wanted to like say goodnight. I wanted to like quickly call, hear about your day. You just gotta learn to do that daily, small, mini step relationship maintenance instead of just the big shebang. Well, here I am, come visit me. And John Gray talks about this a lot. He's studied relationships with between men and women on like the hormonal level. And he was saying that, like, men, if you want more sex with your lady, it's not all about, when you want it, go do flowers and do the big shebang, because men play for points. So they think that, a dozen flowers scores them 12 points, when in reality, flowers get you 1 point, whether it's a single rose or a dozen. It's still it's a smaller point thing, and the size of it doesn't really matter that much. So he says it's more about doing more smaller point actions consistently. He's like, so that means every morning hug your wife, maybe just like lay there and put your hand on her back and rub her back for 5 minutes. When you come home from work, come in, hug her, hold her for like a minute and give her a kiss on her forehead and her cheeks. You got to like do those small touch point non-sexual activities so that like when you want sex, it's just like a quick look up and down and a little like spank and it's like, "Ooh, let's go." But if you're not doing those like in between touch points, the person is like not going to respond to you well. So it's kind of recognizing that you have a little bit of more power than you think you do and getting the person to respond well to you and openly and like showing you more love. It looks like in your recent past, you had an uptick of love. I almost want to say it was like an ex or an old flame that like came back around and you're both like more peaceful than you ever have been before, more harmonious than you ever have been before. And you both were like, yeah, like that future dream together would be nice. I don't think it panned out though, because I don't see anything else in the future about it. It looks like right now, or right now you're in your head. You're just like you're just in your head. It's like fuck, I didn't figure it out. It didn't work out. I guess she's not the one. I guess it wasn't supposed to pan out. No, you got to learn your lesson of the daily communication and the daily touch points. Coming into the near future, it kind of looks like you're not going to give up. I can tell you that, Virgo. You're not going to give up. You got the star card upright. So that is like, I'm on the right path. It's almost as if that not working out with that person, whether or not there'll be another uptick between the two of you, that's a different story. But it definitely kind of made you realize like the value of a long-term, steady, committed partnership. I know a lot of like for high achieving masculine men, I know it can be, but she might derail me from my financial goals. Well, guys, do you want to be that 50-year-old with like 50 houses, millions in the bank, and no one to enjoy it with? What I can tell you when a lot of guys I've coached when they start dating, then they're like, oh, they just want me for my money. So like date a little younger, you know? And like recognize that when you have that supportive, loving, nurturing person in your life who's giving you compliments, like, babe, you did so good. Remember 2 months ago that was hard for you and now you did it? Or someone encouraging you, like, babe, don't be so hard on yourself that you haven't bought the house yet. You're trending in the right direction. You're learning and acquiring all the skill sets to make it happen. Look at all this knowledge you're learning right now. You're in the right direction. Like those little nudges of encouragement, a high achieving masculine man has a hard time in seeing the value of that. You've got to recognize that those little touch points do help fuel you to get it. And if you've already gotten all your riches and everything, then like what's the point? Like sitting on a pile of money by yourself is no fun, guys. You need friends to enjoy it with. You need companionship to enjoy it with. So you're going to feel optimistic in the near future again. I could tell you that. It doesn't look like love, though. In terms of your hopes or fears, your hopes or fears is the 10 of Earth reverse. When it's upright, that's when you got money and love in your life, that happy, content home life, enough money to pay all the bills and a surplus. Your reversal is definitely that like you've got the career and the money. You either already got it or you're on the right path for it, but you don't have that person to share it with and spend it with. And all I can say is just be like, if you whoever this person is, if you would call them like once a day, 15 minutes, and it could even be a, hey, I want to feel loved and liked too. You got to be willing to say, here's the things that I like. Hey, I'd love it if you called me sometimes too, so I could feel liked. So it doesn't always have to be you doing all the effort, but there does have to at least be that like daily touch point to nurture it. Otherwise, you're just going to get those people, let's say they're not a cluster B, but you're going to get those people who are just really panicked in life and who it's like just the phone call from you will relieve them, but they're in like a manic state. They're in like a preoccupied state of living. So like, is that like really who you want to be with? Or do you want to just like grow through the growth to get used to doing a 15-20 minute phone call a day to like build the relationship, you know? In terms of outside influences around you right now, it kind of looks like there's just like a little bit of a disagreement. You think you're teaching the other person a lesson right now and that they're sitting learning their lesson, but in reality, like they've flat out have moved on. So like you think you're letting them like think about what they did and learning their consequences. uh, they're they're not learning a lesson. They're probably like, God, that guy just like would never fucking call, but he would want me to go drive and see him every month, once a month, but he wouldn't call me in between. So they're like, they're not learning a lesson because of your absence. That's all I can tell you. In terms of your hopes or fears for this month, well, you really, really are. You got the Two of Water. So that's where it's like there is love in your life, and you guys are like flirty, witty banter, text messaging, or just a little cutie hottie. You definitely have the hope for that renewed passion and renewed love in life. Um, for the outcome for your month, though, you got the Two of Earth upright, which is where there's just like too many things going on. So it kind of looks like you're prioritizing and emphasizing your career more than relationships right now. And I don't really want to get into that argument because I know a lot of high achieving men and coaches for those types of men always say career first and then wife. But like, guys, if your wife calls you every day and you don't call her back till like 4 p.m., she's not going to feel important or significant. It's learning how to fit her feeling important and significant into your routine. So it's recognizing that a relationship requires more maintenance than you think it will, because you don't want to be that 60, 70-year-old who has no one visiting you at the hospital. Like, you don't. Um, okay, I hope this kind of helped jog you in the right direction. I hope you learned that, relationships are like a plant. You've got to water them so that they stay upright and perky, right? I hope it helped. If you want more interaction with me, every Tuesday I am live free 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in my Facebook group and Facebook business page. Those links are down below. You can book a personal reading right now. The link for that's down below. You can also, my Law of Attraction course is on sale right now. It has videos and PDFs for all 5 steps of Law of Attraction. It's normally $297. Right now it's $97. I'll have that link for you down below as well. But either way, thanks for tuning in to watch the reading, and I hope you guys have a fabulous month.